Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Francisco, you got your hair cut? No? You just combed it? You washed it? Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, just checking. All right, good morning, everyone. Lucy. Karen, it's good to see you. Okay. No sound. Nope, I think there's sound. Okay. Either that I've been talking to nothing. All right. How's everyone doing today? Give me a gut check. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle. Oh, we got two hands from Shanti.
My 7th grade grandson was born this morning. I'm going to share
We
a
got
picture.
no reactions from some people. That's nice. Having one of those days, huh, Natalia? Okay, because she came back alive. All right, fair enough. Hi, Persis. All right. Okay, so we didn't finish all the information from class 3, and we were moving through the particular causes to create all these different types of suffering beings. Like, what is it that creates in the future would create a form realm, a formless realm being? Oh, now I have sound on. I have sound on, but I didn't have my computer sound on. So if someone was talking, I missed it. If you said anything smart, I'm sorry, I missed it. So we were talking about the causes. What takes you from here, where we are today, to someplace different, which is not really a different place, right? It's not a different place where it's like, oh, the form realm is this place, in the sky, or, the hell realm is a place that's like below the earth, right? Down. Like, we have this feeling of, we use the metaphors of going up and going down, like the feeling, right? But the reality of it is that it's a shift of perception, right? It's a simple shift of your karmic seeds, right? And we just finished the ACI teacher training 5. Well, we finished the classes anyway this week. And there's a whole section in that class on what we call like throwing karma, or we call projecting karma. And then there's this thing called finishing karma, right? So the idea of, like, at the point of death, there's a shift of perceptions, right? This life wears out. Because it was started, it stops, right? Because this world started for you, like, it has to collapse on itself, right? It expands and it collapses. But the mind keeps going, which is from ACI 4. Okay. And then immediately a next world is thrown for you, right? The mind doesn't stop. It doesn't go, hey, I'm just chilling out here, nothing's going to happen, right? That'd be, I've actually, sometimes wanted my mind just to stop. I'm like, just stop, shut up, shut up already, right? And it's not quite like that. So it just, the next seeds assert themselves. So the next group of seeds come together to assert, project, throw a new life, whatever that is, for you. So we're in the middle of studying, well, where do we go? What could we go to? And we did this whole thing on these sort of craving spirits in the last class. Right? How do you become that? Right? And we spend a lot of time on jealousy. It's a reason why jealousy is a cause for that. And I hope, my hope in most of these classes is that you leave and you think about yourself, right? What in this class resonated for you? What resonated? Did you think about your jealousy? Did you think about the ways you get jealous? I did. This is the only reason I teach. I'm selfish. I'm just thinking about myself. Just talking to myself anyway. Maybe. So I thought a lot about my own jealousies and whys of the jealousy. What brings up jealousy for me? And it's really a good exercise to do. Like, what brings jealous, not only just feelings, but then behaviors? What are those things for you? And then please, it's like, for the love of Buddha. Okay, that's an expression. In English, the expression is for the love of God. Okay. For the love of Buddha. Hi, Olga. Like, for the love of Buddha, like, don't try to solve your jealousy by doing things that don't work. Okay. I'm going to talk to my boyfriend because he does things that makes me jealous. Okay. Does talking to your boyfriend work? Sometimes he might say, oh, honey, I didn't realize that that's painful for you, or I didn't realize I was doing it. Sometimes the reaction can be like one of disgust and disdain. What, are you accusing me of something? One could be of dismissal, like, whatever, like, that's all in your head, baby. Right? Babe, just forget it. Like, it's not a problem, right? And there's a million different reactions. There could be the reaction of, oh, I can see how that hurts you. And then they don't change. And then they could say, I see how that hurts you. And they do change, right? Not related. The seeds are not related. Okay. I'm not I'm not saying don't have conversations with your partner. It's not what I said. But you need to have the seeds first for a conversation to even work, right? But then you have to understand, like, what are you jealous of, right? Are you jealous of the act? Does the feeling arise in you as jealous? Like, you have to investigate it. Like, what is the depth of it? And then why? Like, do certain actions make you feel unsafe? Right? Do certain things, like, you go, oh, I feel unsafe. My relationship is, oh, they could leave me now. And so then you start looking around for reasons why they might leave you. Right? So is the problem jealousy, or is the problem a lack of safety? Right? And it's going to be unique for everybody. It's going to be unique for everybody. I would suggest, yeah, investigate, meditate. Right. And Shanti's saying, feelings based on past losses or traumas, like, it's complex. Right. And a lot of these things operate in the background. They operate way in the background that we don't even know they're happening. We just go, oh, I'm jealous because you looked at somebody else. Okay, maybe. Maybe, but maybe there's a whole bunch of other things going on underneath of it that is prior to the jealousy. And then it overwhelms, right? And then it becomes, then it becomes impossible to investigate it because you're wrapped up in the emotion of it itself. And, I'm just talking from experience. I'm not, how to unravel it. And I'm not typically a jealous person, not in the normal ways. I get jealous in ways that are like, when people can do things that I can't, that's a big one for me. Most of my jealousies in relationships have nothing to do with the external actions. It has to do with a feeling of emotional security that I trust that if there's a need, that the person will still be there. So all the other things that I was placing onto the jealousy were just a feeling of, I was not sure that I would get what I needed when I needed it. Right. So it was an emotional thing. So then when that part is safe, when there's trust, when all of those things were there, all the other actions didn't even bother me. They weren't jealous worthy actions. They were completely something else. They were seen completely differently. Right. So anyway, the point is, figure it out for yourself. Should you do it by yourself? I'm diamond dealing you. Okay. I don't know. Do you have the seeds to have it work by yourself, or do you have the seeds to have it work with other people? Do you have seeds to investigate all of this in deep retreat by yourself and have a total meltdown to figure it out? Or do you have the seeds to do it with a therapist or with a coach or with a friend or with your partner? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, see, the thing with this, that I need to keep reminding us over, and I gotta remind myself, frankly, is that these things, we solve problems the wrong way. It's like, oh, I'm going to go talk to my partner because, they're doing all these things that make me jealous. Oh, your partner made you jealous? Who made you jealous? Okay, let me rephrase it. What made you jealous? Their actions. Oh, their actions made you jealous. Oh, okay. Is there a way to see those actions in a way that's not jealousy? Oh, no. Are you sure? And then, is there a time when someone would not see those things in a jealous way? Well, maybe. Okay, well, then the jealousy is not about the action. Right? Like, we have to look at the seeds inside. Like, what do we have? What would be some of the seeds to be able to investigate those things? 4 steps. Here we go. This one's easy. I want to learn how to investigate the deeper layers of my psyche, which are planting seeds in an unaware, unreflected, automatic way that are keeping me in samsara. Step 1, I want to do that. Step 2, make a plan. Who are you going to help? I'm going to help to be able to do this in deep retreat by talking about it in my ACI 8 class, 4 class. Okay. I'm going to provide some ideas for people, what they could do. Good. I got 95 people here today. Thank God there's 95 people here today. This is one of the times where I'm like, damn, I wish there were more people here. Now I'm jealous of some other teacher who's teaching right now. Why are you someone else's class and not at mine? Okay. All right, cool. All right, Tracy. At least there's 96 people. All right. So 96 people. Well, 95 because I'm myself is here. Okay. So 95 people. Okay, making a plan. I'm going to help 95 people look deeper into the unreflected, unaware, automatic things that happen below the quote conscious mind that are planting some seeds that we may not want. Right? So now I'm made a plan. Now I'm going to do it. All right. And then I'm going to rejoice in it afterwards. Okay. Well, how do you do that? How do you help someone? Right? Well, listen, listen to your friends, listen to, like, for me right now to like look at each of you, I don't have, I don't have the mind to like look at each of you here and go, oh, here's your thing, like, and then write it all out. Like, I can't do that. But part of being able to do that for yourself is being able to do it for others and listen to other people. Like, listen for what people aren't saying, what was not said, right? What was not said, like what's behind the message? What are the words that weren't expressed? Oftentimes when someone's upset or experiencing an emotion, there's a whole bunch of different things going on that they're not aware of at all. They're not aware of it. Now, I had someone talking to me recently, and within 5 minutes told me everything I needed to know, but they hadn't connected the pieces together for themselves. They hadn't connected something that had happened to them in childhood with their current behavior. Within 5 minutes, they're telling me two different things, and they hadn't put them together. And I'm sitting there like, are you even listening to yourself? Now, I wasn't facetious, but I'm like, wow, you are unable to listen to yourself because they weren't ready to put the pieces together. They have these two things swirling around in their mind, in their heart, and it's just, they're unrelated. There's like a darkness between the two, right? And then I was like, it's not, I'm not going to connect those for them yet. They're not ready because it was too much. I was like, ooh, that's going to blow them up. They're not ready. Capacity. It's a capacity question, right? But you're right, Tracy. It's like just being a witness. If the person realizes it themselves, right? Maybe ask a question, but you have to be also ready to support people. Like, if you're going to do this work with people, you better be there for them. The moment that this person connects those two things together, it's going to be it's going to be an emotional, it's not going to be a light emotional moment, because then they're going to realize the last 20 years of their life have been fueled by this separation, right? And that decisions and things that happened and they did in their life were fueled by this lack of awareness, and they may not be happy with the choices they made, or they might be really sad. All those things can happen. But doing that kind of work can help you, and do it slowly, do it gently, do it like yeah, some of it can be challenging, but it's also it's liberating. It's like, shit, I don't have that pattern anymore, or I still have that pattern, but I'm aware of it happening in the moment of it happening. And I'm like, oh wow, look at there I go again. There I go in that samsara. Oops, I started that again. Oops, I did it again, right? Shit, right? Okay, well, next time maybe better, right? But it's awareness. This is why we need to meditate, like to be able to focus ourselves, calm ourselves, stabilize our mind. So then we can unravel these things. So we can unravel these underlying karmic patterns that are keeping us enraptured in meaningless, well, I don't say meaningless, but dramas and traumas and ways of life that are unfulfilling. And then thinking further down the line, like, might turn you into a craving spirit in your next life, or might send you to another realm, like, what do you want? And the question I have is like, how hungry are you to change that? And part of this class is to create that motivation, right? But how hungry are you, right? We're down to 101 people. We started with 165. Okay. They may not be as hungry as you are. Okay. My cat is hungry too because I haven't given her breakfast. She's yelling at me. She has a problem of eating too much. She emotionally eats. Yes, you're fine. You're going to be fine. Have a lot of reserves. Don't sit on my clothes. Anyway, sorry. Now she's doing things to annoy me because she's hungry. This is funny. We could watch her patterns. Like, what is she doing to create her next life right now? Anyway, so the idea is like, are you hungry enough to change it and to do that work? And how are you going to do the work, and who are you going to do the work with? Right. Part of it is like, you do need a teacher. So, all right. We were last class in this world of pretas. Now we're going to the world of animals. Like, what is it that creates, an animal rebirth? Okay. There's three main things you have to know. Like, what will turn you into my cat? Well, I guess there's different kind of animal rebirth, right? Because some animal rebirths are better than others. One of our friends, Santosh, works in one of our input centers in India. He came to visit several years ago and he stayed with me. And he was shocked at how well treated my cats are and how much care they have, and food and comfort. Excuse me, get down. It's time to get down. So, yeah, come on. I know, come on. Oh, geez. Okay, fine. Then just sit there. But he was so like, oh my God, these cats are living in heaven. I was like, I had no concept. I'm like, what are you talking about? It just has a house and lives with me. And he was like, you don't understand. We don't do this in India. Animals, we don't keep animals as pets like this. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So being reborn as Trinity, right, is a different rebirth than being reborn as a cat in India, right? The lifestyle is a little bit different. The care is a little bit different, right? She doesn't have to worry about her food. Okay, it's a little delayed. Okay, She's a little hungry. But we love you. And we love you. That's why you're overweight, because they give you too much food. Because she's too cute, right? And I decided just to like give up on it. I'm like, you know what? It makes her happy, right? And she has this thing where she overeats because it's an emotional thing. You know, I don't know what happened to her. I can't process her traumas for her, right? We can't go into therapy. I can't talk to her about it, you know, but I can make her feel safe, right? She feels safe. There's going to be enough food. Okay, this is okay. I'm sorry. Now she won't leave us alone. Hold on just 1 second. And by the way, there's plenty of food in the bowl. There's just a little circle in the middle, right? She ate the food in the middle. There's plenty of food there. Sophia, you want to come back as my cat? I hope that you live a long, long life that doesn't have to happen. But yeah, I can't process her emotions with her in that kind of way. We can't talk about it. I can't be like, hey, look at your, you know, what happened to you as a kitten? I don't know. You know, she got it from her mother. Her mother lived on the street. They didn't have enough. Right. She's 12 years old. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, but I can help her feel safe. Right. Because the more she feels safe, the less she engages that pattern. Right. She doesn't get nervous. She doesn't get anxious. She was just getting anxious right now because she didn't think she was going to get food. Right. Although the food's sitting right here, right? There's still food in her bowl. But anyway. So what takes you to an animal rebirth? The first general cause is the 10 bad deeds to a less serious extent. Those are the words. What does that mean? Less serious, right? We talked about less serious, medium serious, and high serious. Okay. So it's less than medium. Okay. What does that mean? It's not really clear. But it's doing things in a not so aware way. Like, are you thinking about when you're driving down the street, the bugs that you're killing on your car? Are you just sort of not aware? When you're walking outside, are you stepping on ants? Right. Did you almost step on a cockroach last night in your bare feet, but felt it, and then instead of crunching all the way down, picked up your foot and let it run back under something, right? That happened to me last night. That was kind of gross. I was like, ah. I turned off the lights and went to bed, and then I was like, ah. That's a little gross, right? And it's just because it's crawly, is whatever. But I could have kept stepping, right? But I didn't, right? I didn't kill it. I actually was able to catch it. I've learned how to catch cockroaches. I'm an expert at it now. I've learned they run in the same direction they're facing before they make a turn. They'll run first straight and then make a left or right hand turn. So when you put the cup down, put the cup in front of them. So they'll always take a few steps forward. It's a thing they have. And they're like zombies, right? There's the slow zombies and then there's the fast zombies, right? The slow cockroaches, they're just like, whatever, take me outside. The fast ones, you know, you got to watch out for those. But yeah, so doing those to we don't have flying ones here. Thank goodness. I think I would probably have a meltdown if there were flying cockroaches in my house. I couldn't handle that. All right, so doing the 10 bad deeds to a lesser extent, which ones do you have to do? It's not clear, Lena, I'm sorry. Just don't do any of them, and then it'll be fine. So, and then the more specific, that's a general cause. A more specific cause is breaking minor rules of you're breaking minor vows on a regular basis. Okay. Just doing small little annoyances. Okay. Just breaking your vows a little bit, just a little bit. Like not paying attention. Like, I'm not really aware of this, or like, it doesn't really matter. Nobody's watching. I'm not really hurting anybody. Who are you not really hurting anybody? You're just hurting yourself. Even when you are by yourself. Oh, I'm going to think about that jerk today in the shower. Actually, one of the reasons now that I get up late and later is so I don't sit in the shower for too long thinking about the jerks from yesterday, because it's my favorite place to think of jerks. Right? And plan what I'm going to do. So yeah, just breaking your vows in a minor vows, things that aren't that important. Right? It's not that important to take care of other people. Oh, that person, and I wasn't really mad. I was just a little sarcastic. That's my favorite flavor. Just a little bit of sarcasm at someone else's expense. I love humor, of course, but sometimes it's, and it depends on the motivation, who's around too, right? Sometimes it's just fun, right? Sometimes it's fun to poke fun at your friends, right? Poke fun at your friends until they get upset. I was talking to someone recently, and it was like, oh, I'm sorry, you went too far. That was too much. Oh, I'm sorry, and then you understand the boundaries. Right? The third cause, and I like this, again, this is kind of like the Pareto one, like jealousy and possessiveness are like the big mental afflictions that create craving spirits. And a very specific cause again, these things there's not a number. It's not like today you can break 5 minor vows in one major thing and you still won't be a human, right? It's not like a number, right? It's not like, okay, I can do this twice, or I can do this 10 times in a day and I'm okay, right? Don't think like that. All right. They're habits, they're karmic habits. So breaking the text says a great number of wrong deeds. What the hell does that mean? The first one said doing a lot of, what does it say? Breaking minor rules on a regular basis. And then doing a great number of bad deeds. Which one's a habit? Which one's like, is it once a week I can do a bad deed? Is it twice a week? What the hell does that mean? It just means don't do it. If you want to come back as Tim's cat, that could be a goal, I guess. But I don't know, it's not super exciting. My life isn't as exciting as you think, guys. I don't even know what you think of my life, but why would you want to come back as Tim's cat? Like, just get enlightened now. Like, stop, don't worry about where you're going to end up. Just get out, right? Like, but the idea of this class is to say, well, if you keep doing some of the things you're doing, you may turn into Tim's cat, or you might turn into a cockroach. And if you're overly attached to Tim, but you don't do a lot of bad deeds, you might come back as a cockroach in Tim's house. And you'll come back as one of the fast zombie cockroaches, right? The ones that I can't capture and take outside, right? So you'll live a life of exciting cockroach life underneath the kitchen counter, right? Come out at night and maybe see Tim like wander around and get a glass of water at 3 a.m., right? And then go back under the kitchen counter, right? What? They say, Sharon, that that you can get attached to houses or people or things like that, if you understand them the wrong way. When they talk about haunted houses, this is what they're talking about, right? People that are so attached to their home. Like, my mom's really attached to her house. Like, she doesn't want to go anywhere. She feels super safe there, right? She doesn't want to give it up. I'm like, Mom, you can barely walk up the stairs anymore. You can't keep your house clean. And it's like, well, that falls on deaf ears. So, but, it's in a kind of attachment. So if you become too attached to Tim and do a certain number of bad deeds, which I don't know how much they are, you could come back as a cat or a cockroach in Tim's house. Okay. But I hope that you all live long, long lives, and you live much longer than me, and you won't come back in my house. Okay. Or anything else you're attached to. But the part here I find really interesting. The example that they give for the great number of wrong deeds is failing to respect those who are worthy of respect. Chris, I didn't see that episode of Saturday Night Live. I'll have to go look at it. But failing to give respect to those who are worthy of respect. So here's my picture for this, and I'm going to talk about it. Right? Who's seen the show Suits? A couple people, right? Great show. All right. Different people in this picture are bosses of different people. Okay. They don't really treat each other that nicely. It's not really, but who's the boss? Who's the main boss? The woman on the left, Jessica. Okay. The guy in the front is the main character. On the right, standing in front of everyone, is the main character, but he's not the boss, right? The guy next to him on the right side is his employee. Okay. So there's all the different levels of whose bosses are whom's, right? And this is a thing that happens, right? Like, do you respect the people who are worthy of respect within the cultural context that you find yourself in? Okay. So, if you work for somebody, you're in an agreement with that person. I saw a meme the other day. It's a little harsh. The employee came in and she was like, "You never say thank you." And the boss was like, Your paycheck is the thank you. It's a little harsh, right? Well, I'm Sydney. I don't remember what I was talking about when you said what you said, so I don't remember what I said. So if you want to write that down, then I can answer your question.
Tim,
Who's
this is Ella. This is Ella. I have a question. What determines the worthiness of respect? Is it the person or the position?
the karma? I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting question. Like, some people demand respect. Well, I'm the boss, so respect me. Okay, if you're the boss and you say that to your people, you do not understand karma.
Where I'm coming from is like a leader. If a leader is worthy on his own merits of the respect, like a leader of a country, or if just the position alone, regardless of whether he's a dictator or a good leader or whatever. I mean,
See,
where do you draw that line?
So that's a good question. So, okay, now let's take a larger context. If you are in a country that is run by a dictator, right? You have the karma to be led by a dictator. Okay. So, and that dictator has certain rules and regulations of behaviors that are proper and improper, right? And so whether you agree with those rules and regulations and behaviors or not, they will have real consequences for you if you don't align with those, right? Even in a country that is not labeled a dictatorship, there are still rules and regulations of those areas, right? Decided collectively by the people's karma. Now, but the dictator took power and I didn't choose that. I know you didn't choose that, right? This is where it gets really hard. And this is where we have to be very gentle with people. Like, no, you didn't choose it. No, they didn't take over your country because you were in the street being like, yeah, take us over, right? Suppress us, oppress us, like that. What? You didn't choose to have someone invade your country, right? You didn't be like, hey, come bomb my country. And then you say, oh, well, that's coming from your seeds. Careful. Yes, but that doesn't help people most of the time, especially if you're the one being bombed or you're the one who's living under the dictatorship, right? If someone's being bombed, go help them, right? Find ways to help the people that are in the suffering. Don't say, guess what? That's coming from your seeds. Yeah, that's a very advanced practitioner who can understand that and be okay with the bombs falling around them. Right? That's a hard thing to swallow, right? So, there's also, we say that if you do disagree, you have choices to make, right? If you have a moral objection to the laws of your land or what your government is doing, we call it in English, we call it civil disobedience, right? And it can go from civil disobedience up to just flat out breaking the rules, and right. And then you're also accepting the consequences, because maybe you're making a stand and you're saying, look, this isn't right. And I think something else is right. So I'm going to disobey, right? Now, you also have to be careful, in the disobeying, are you hurting other people, right? Are you going to march into the Capitol building of the United States on January 6, 2001 with a gun, and then you hurt people, right? Maybe that was an act of civil disobedience. Maybe that was an act of, we don't agree with this. Okay. but just don't hurt other people while you're doing it, then you're just screwing yourself over doubly, you're hurting yourself even more by hurting other people doing something that you think is hurting people, right? So it gets very gray very quickly. Okay. But if you agree to a certain situation, or even if you didn't agree to it, you just happen to be living in it, right? You have to, it's very, very subtle, right? But a good action of respect can't create a bad result. Okay. You may not like your boss. You may not like the decisions your boss makes. But if you respect it because they're the boss, you can't have a bad result. Oh, Tim, but all this other bad stuff happens. Different seats. Different seats, right? But eventually you'll have a different kind of result if you respect the wishes of your boss, right? You can fight them. You can disagree. We didn't say any of those things, right? You can, if you have a boss, if you have the karma to have a boss that listens to your ideas, right? But then the boss puts them together and says, we're going in this direction, which is in contradiction to your idea, but at least you got your idea listened to, right? Like these are, look, like this is not, it's so complicated. This is why the only person who can understand karma is really a Buddha. Okay. Right. See, Jackie, that's interesting. If you're respecting an evil leader, you're getting the karma of respect, but then you're also getting the karma of supporting someone who does wrong things at the same time. You guys just want to end this class right now? What the hell do you do? How do you get out of it? How do you get out of that? Respect is like the pen. Carmen, beautiful. Respect is like the pen. If you disrespect people, you will come back as an animal. There you go. Right? Everyone has, right? It's not karmically terrible, right? So, and we have to understand, and the more you think about it, some people have, meltdowns about these things. What do I do? This is all, it all gets complicated, right? But we have to do our best. And if you keep your vows, if you keep following those things, you will see results. Things will change for you overall, bit by bit. So have fun. Like it's fun. This can be a lot of fun. Nobody's smiling. This is really depressing. Y'all kind of like all serious here and like, my God, my life is over. I'm never going to be able to plant a good karmic seed again because it's wrapped up in some kind of negativity. I'm sorry. Until you see emptiness directly, you're always already wrapped up in ignorance. So just get over it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Yeah, Shang, you have to think about it. I didn't say don't disagree. I didn't say not support. Like there's a whole, like there's choices that are being made, right? And maybe there is a time when someone has a leadership role, that you stand up and say no more. Right? Again, it becomes so incredibly individual. What are you seeing and how are you seeing it? And what does it mean for you in your world? Because your world is different than my world. Two equally amazing bodhisattvas could do two opposite things and be both planting amazing seeds. Yeah, you could respectfully disagree. Yes, exactly. Right. You know, how do you talk to your Lama when you disagree with what they've asked you to do? Or you disagree with something that they do? Right? Because you don't know. And if you learn to treat your Lama that way, you will learn to treat others that way because you really don't know what's going on for somebody else. Like to say to your teacher, you've asked me to do something, or I see you doing certain things that I just don't understand. Like I'm having a hard time with this. Can you help explain it to me? Or this doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense based on the knowledge that I have. Maybe the teacher is saying things to get you to think about it. Maybe they're asking, you've gotten to a point with a teacher where they ask you to do things that they want you to say no to. Right? Oh, do everything your teacher says. Really? That's going to get you into a whole hell of a bunch of trouble eventually. Because then they're going to start teaching you what not to do by telling you to do things that they know you're going to do. And then you're going to have to figure out what's right and what's wrong. Because at the end of the day, it's you and your own seeds, you see. And frankly, what Tracy just said, I think is really important, is that in the moment, there's so many things that have already ripened for you that it's inconceivable. And that's not true. There's not much you can do in the moment. In fact, you can't change anything that's already come out of the ground. It can't. If you're having emotional difficulties or you're upset about things, or you're constantly thinking about your past or not, like it's already out. You can't do anything about it in the moment. You know, and it's in accepting that. And then being able to make incremental changes for that. You know, it's a process, and this is why you need support in community. Right? So you don't turn into an animal. Right? You know, so you can free yourself from this. We can free ourselves very, very quickly. The methods that you learn between ACI 1 and 18 get more and more sophisticated. 4 steps just become more and more sophisticated. Sorry about that, guys. My internet went away. You didn't need to hear what I had to say. You didn't have the karma to hear the deepest secret of the universe. That's your karma. No, it's funny. When something like that happens, it's like, wasn't the right thing to say. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to say that again. But you learn how to use the 4 steps more and more sophisticatedly. So learn to do them now, and then you start adding in more and more technique. And then they become more and more powerful, and the results become faster and faster. right? The more you understand emptiness, the more the 4 steps works. The more the methods that you get to use the 4 steps work. But why would they work, Tim? Don't the 4 steps have emptiness in themselves? Yes. I'll leave you guys there. We've already talked about that one. Okay. So we're going to talk about the 6 types of suffering that a human has. We've kind of gone both directions. Now we're going to come into our world. What are the kinds of sufferings that we experience? All right. So just because we were talking about it, you get a cute cat picture. There's a cute cat. Just look at the cute cat. Pet its belly. And some of you probably are like, I hate cats, Tim. Yeah, well, there you go. It's a pen. So we're going to be studying Rinchen Nasa, which is excuse me, my brain just stopped. It's a commentary called The Chest of Riches by Nucho Dharmabhadra, who is one of our Vajrayogini lineage holders. We'd study a lot of his stuff when we get to Vajrayogini. And the root text is Delam. The translation of Delam in this, this is by the first Panchen Lama. The translation in the ACI courses at that point was called the Path of Ease. Okay. But another name of it is the Path of Bliss. Okay. And this is a Delam, excuse me, this is a Lamrim by the first Panchen Lama. And we studied this in the first 3 courses of the Diamond Way, courses 1, 2, and 3. So we studied this in depth, the path to bliss. Just a little information for you guys. So that's where we're pulling this from. Okay, here we go. The first suffering that a human has is called a lack of certainty. Okay, here you are looking at these signs. This is a sign from Chile. All the different places you can go. Right? You walk up to the sign and you're like, well, I'm in the middle of the desert. Which way do I go? And that's kind of what this first suffering is about. And it's that first of all, you don't know, if we think about it between lifetimes, we don't know who we were to each other, right? Your father could be your son. Your partner could have been your mother. Your best friend in this life could have been an enemy in the last life. Like, you just don't know, right? And I don't know if you've ever had the experience, but it's this experience of when I meet people, sometimes I'm like, I've known you forever, right? And I think it's something like that, where like you just have this deep karmic connection. And we probably have done this all before. Shanti was the teacher and I was the student in the class, right? We've done this before, right? We've just kind of, mix it all up, right? Some groups of people you're more attracted to. I don't know why I like Berlin. I feel comfortable in Berlin. I feel like it's home. I don't know, right? You just feel certain things. But there's also another thing in this own lifetime. Nothing's certain. Like, you're supposed to live a full life, right? Parents are supposed to die before their children die. Relationships are supposed to last a long time. Someone who was your best friend last year now doesn't like you. I got unfriended by a friend of 20 plus years. I got a text that basically said, we're not friends anymore. The end. Goodbye. I was like, what? We didn't even have a fight. We didn't have any of that. Like, it was just like, I'm not talking to you ever again. I don't like you. Boom, the end. I'm like, what? I lost a friend of 25 years. We talked like 3 times a week. You know why we lost that friendship? Because of jealousy. Right? And I didn't know that they were jealous. And I was just trying to help them. Right? But I wasn't aware enough of that, what was going on. And so everything I was doing was hurting them more and more and more. And eventually they just left. So that's a lack of communication karma. I was like, just communicate with me, anyway. But you never know. That's completely uncertain. Right? You never know when you're going to die. You never know. You never know when something could happen. So that's the first kind of suffering we live with. Yay. That's so exciting. Here we go. If we didn't put this on YouTube, I was going to play you a song. We can never get any satisfaction. We can get no satisfaction from life. I can't get no, right? There you go, right? You can't get no satisfaction because you just want more, right? This is the thing about the lottery. The lottery doesn't make you happy because you'll find a way to spend the money and then you're going to want more money. Or you're going to think that the money is buying you happiness and all that other stuff. Right? No matter how much we get of something, we cannot feel contentment. Like it's this thing, like, the norm, like when you have something that you like, rather than just being satisfied, it creates more desire for the object. You want more, you want more, you want more, right? Like, oh, I just had a nice lunch, right? Then you want, yeah, you might be stuffed for an hour, but then you want more food, right? Oh, I had a nice orgasm. Then you just want another one eventually, right? It's like you never are satisfied with just one, right? Things that you do can, I'm saying can as the operative word, can create desire for more in the wrong way. That's why people get addicted to sex. That's why people get addicted to pornography. That's why people get addicted to smoking cigarettes. That's why people are addicted to eating food. Or people are addicted to not eating food. Okay. It creates the doing of something creates a level of pleasure that then needs to be repeated. It's not sustainable normally, right? An orgasm happens and it goes normally, right? You can't sustain it. How amazing would it be to like live in a world of orgasm? That'd be interesting, right? Right? Sustain that. But normally it doesn't, right? And then you want another one. I want another brownie. I want another cookie. I want another kiss. I want more support, right? Whatever those things are, and if you think about that, right? Yeah, my mom has a bowl of M&Ms. She has a bowl of M&Ms. She has a bowl of this, like literally as my mom walks around the house, there's candy everywhere. You can just reach out and grab little pieces of candy, right? I'm not addicted to anything. Okay, mom. She just shows me my own addictions. I don't know why I'm gaining weight, Tim. Have you seen how much sugar is in the house? Labi became chef because of brownies. Brownies are delicious. What about pot brownies when you were younger, right? That was delicious too. You see, nothing can satisfy. I'm not suggesting doing that, okay? But what I'm saying is that drugs, all these things. Wonder if the translators got that one. So it can't be satisfied. And if you really observe your life, you're like, yeah, you're kind of right. I'm not right. The Buddha's right. This one, here's a nice suffering. We have to shed our bodies over and over again. No matter how hard we try to keep it, we're forced by our karma to let it go. And no matter how hard we try to keep this body going, it eventually goes. Some earlier than others. So that's a particular suffering we live with all the time. We live with the suffering of this happening. And if you're paying attention for more than 5 minutes, it's happening to you. Day by day, year by year. Then we have the suffering of being born. We usually think of taking birth as like a super exciting thing. Like, oh, look, we're going to have a baby. Oh, we're having a child. Like we do all this celebration around it, right? We send pictures of little feet and we have parties and we do all of these things and it's beautiful. Okay. But if we really think about it, we're just in a cycle of over and over and over and over and over again. Like maybe that's why babies cry when they come out, because they're like, damn it, I'm doing it again. Like, damn it, I'm here again, right? And they say, the Abhidharma gets really, really interesting here. It gets like, if we count our past lives by the dirt, a little grain of dirt, there'd be more past lives, more births that you took than the amount of grains of dirt on this planet. And that's exciting, right? If you really think about it and if you really put yourself into it, it's like, oh my God, oops, I did it again. Like Britney Spears wasn't that far off. Right? It's like, oops, I did it again. What did you do again? Oops, I got born again. Right? Got to deal with that, right? Here's a nice one. The suffering of you always, if you're on the top, you have to go down. Any good thing that happens in this life eventually turns into some kind of problem. All right. Here's a guy, he has a corner office, he has a MacBook Pro, he dresses nicely, he's on a cell phone, he's making a big business deal, he makes a lot of money, right? Eventually, he will not be in that corner office. Something will take him away from being the leader of this company. Whether it's his bad karma asserts itself and then he gets caught in some scandal, or, his company crashes and they fire him as CEO, or he just gets old and they're like, yeah, look, it's time for you to retire. That's a hard conversation to have. You've been there for 25 years and it's time to go because you can't do the job anymore because your body's too old. Your mind is too old, right? So that's a nice suffering we have. That's enjoyable. So don't think we strive to be the leader. You strive for all of these things, and then it all gets taken away in the end. Okay. I have no illusions of being an ACI executive director forever. Someone will come along, right? Or something will happen to me and someone else will have to take over, right? Or my karma will change and I'll be like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go do something else, right? All of those things are possible and they terrify me. Frankly, they terrify me. But the whole point, let me just do number 6 and I'll tell you what the whole point is. Number 6, this is even more depressing, all right? That in the end, we have no companions. Even if we did things together with people. Good deeds, bad deeds, we do them all with our friends, we do them with our lovers, we do them all together with our families. But in the end, you're the only one who can experience your own karma. That bag in this picture is her karmic bank account. And only she gets to travel with it. Right? And they also, there's this other line that they say that, actually, I made a mistake earlier. I said this was said in the Abhidharma. This is what's said in Notre Dhamma Bhadra's commentary to Delam. I'm sorry, I said it was Abhidharma. That even if you try to practice some Dharma, our friends might even hold us back from practicing. Hey, let's go out tonight. Let's go get a coffee. No, I have to meditate. No, let's go get a coffee and gossip about people. You know. And even makes the comment of saying, if I'm the only one who can experience my karma, why do I even worry about other people? It's a very, very difficult comment, and it's not entire, it has to be interpreted. What use are my friends if I'm the only one who can experience my own karma? It's not entirely true, because you need people to plant seeds, right? But there's a particular feeling of, I'm the only one who has to experience these. I'm the only one who can experience my karma. So in the end, I am the only one. There's no companion. There's no one who's going to hold your hand and experience the same thing you're experiencing. Wow, wasn't that depressing, guys? Thanks for joining class today. Life as a human sucks. There's no certainty, right? There's no certainty about anything in any situation. We never can be satisfied. We have to die over and over again. We have to be born over and over again. We have to fall from high positions, and we're just freaking alone. So I guess we should just hang up, push leave, and then go sit on the couch and cry about it. Okay. And oh, I already fed her, Tracy. She's going to be fine. Oh, she'll be hungry again. Yeah, she's going to be hungry very soon. Right. One positive thing about being human, please. All right. If everyone's all depressed, you're sitting there being like, well, what's the point? The point of all of this is that we have a unique capacity, which I said earlier. My cat, as gorgeous and adorable and loving as she is, planting some good seeds, she's not able to really do anything with her lifetime to really accelerate her path to Buddhahood, because her mind's not clear enough. Right? Her mind isn't clear enough to be able to do that. It doesn't have the capacity for it. Right? Form realm beings don't have the capacity. Why? Because they don't have those sufferings explicitly. Everything is nice. They do get satisfaction. All-day orgasms are possible in the form realm. Go meditate on form realm meditations, and you too can have all-day orgasms in the form realm. Okay. Right, but eventually that has to end for them. Okay. They do have to die. They have to be reborn. But the unique thing about being a human is that we have a perfect amount of suffering that can motivate us. We have the capacity, we have the mental and physical capacity to do something about it. If you live in a form realm and everything's all peachy, you're not going to do anything. You have no motivation. There's no motivation to think about it until the moment of death in the form realm. But then everyone leaves you alone because you start smelling and rotting away, and everyone goes and they reject you. Right? So in our world, we have a very unique opportunity where we have just enough pain to say, look, I want something different from this. And then we have all these tools that have been taught to us to be able to do something about it. And it is uncomfortable at times. Like, it's not like, there's a honeymoon period when we join the Dharma. Most of us experience a honeymoon period, right? Things are cool. Like, you're happy, you're doing, you feel attracted to it. Like, your seeds are ripening, your old bakchucks are going off. Things are cool. And then that's not sustainable, right? It's like the honeymoon period of a relationship. Like, everything's good, the dopamine's high, right? Then you have your first fight, then you have your second fight, then you have to do the work, right? And this course for me is a transition course that says, look, we have to do the work, right? We have to do. So like I was talking about in the beginning, about getting into some of these deeper levels of causes of jealousy, getting into that deeper space of what could be motivating your jealousy. Like, what's behind the emotion, right? Because the act itself is not, it's like a pen, right? The thing you got jealous of is like a pen. But why do you get jealous, right? Oh, you're ignorant. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, well, you're not understanding where it's coming from. Oh, that's nice. But then that's one thing to say, okay, the jealousy is coming from me. But there were a whole bunch of other things happening before the jealousy, right? Then you can go into that and start exploring it. And I would venture to say, this is a hypothesis. I'm going to venture to say that if you look at the 6 types of suffering, one of the reasons for your jealousy is in those 6. In general, like as a generality. Okay. I don't know. That's why you got to meditate on it, because you guys have homework. Right. Maybe your jealousy is a lack of satisfaction. Maybe your jealousy is about recognizing that you are alone, that you can't really possess your partner. You can't have your partner. You can't own your partner, right? As much as you might try, you cannot control your partner's actions. If you could, we would all be happy. Do the dishes, honey. Okay, maybe. Like, good luck. So maybe if you looked at those 6 sufferings, yeah, I don't want AI doing my dishes. Maybe that'd be nice. That'd be great if someone just came in and did my dishes every day. I'd love that. Here's your homework. All right. The 6 sufferings. Right. What was the first one?
Lack of certainty.
Lack of certainty, right? It's a lack of certainty, right? So in your book, remember the first day, what was your homework the first day? You guys still doing it? No. What was your homework the first class? Yes, the list of people. Are you writing down the list of people that you are going to help when you become enlightened? This is a joyful practice. Okay. Who are you going to help? Now, I'd like you guys to start thinking about. So we have a lack of certainty. The second one is, I can't get no satisfaction, right? And then you have to shed this body. Then you have to bring on a new rebirth. I can't remember all of them. Oh, you have to fall from a high position. And then finally, you have no companions. All right. This is not a fun exercise, folks. I'm sorry. But it's a motivating exercise. So first of all, in your book, start writing down things that happen to you that are related to those 6. So maybe if you're following like your 6 times a day book, make one of them one of the 6 sufferings. Right? So when you fill out your book, find a page here. Okay. Right. Fill out your book. Don't screenshot it. Bad person. Don't look at Tim's anyway. You can't read it anyhow. In the last one, right? Last one down here, put one of the 6 sufferings. Oh, everything must go from the top of the ladder to the bottom of the ladder, right? If you have a high position, you have to go to a low position. And just think about it during the day. Think about the things that you're doing or the people around you. Now, don't wish the people who are in high positions around you will fall to low positions so you can get the high position. That's called ill will and jealousy together. Okay. You're jealous of their high position, and then you hope they fail so you can have it. I hope Tim fails so I can become executive director of ACI. There's so many things wrong with that statement. If you want to have a leadership position, plant seeds for leadership, right? So in this way, and if you say, we must shed our bodies, you'll start noticing death all around you. If you said we have to take rebirth, you'll start noticing all the rebirth. How many ants get reborn every single day in my garden? Okay. Can't get no satisfaction. Find a moment where you were satisfied, and then when that satisfaction stopped, and then you wanted it again, right? So if you start noticing all these things, then there's something to do, right? How does one become a leader, and how do you maintain leadership? So you don't fall. $50, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You respect other leaders, obviously, and help other people have power.
That's true. The answer was seeds, but yes, $50 for Sydney. Seeds, right? It's all seeds, right? It's all karma. You missed the question, Anna, because you weren't paying attention. Dun dun. No, I just asked, if you want to maintain leadership, how do you if all leaders have to fall, how do you maintain it? How did you get there in the first place? How do you maintain it? How do you get there? It's all about the karma of doing it. Because if you're not planting the seeds, then the things have to end. Right? So what's a positive thing about being a human is that if you study ACI courses and you practice it really well, you do it, you keep your vows really, really well, you do all the stuffs, it's possible that you can achieve total enlightenment in this one lifetime. That's the cool thing. All of this is designed to get you to just plant seeds. Okay. All of this is designed just to get you to understand that the things that you're doing to get the things you want don't work. I'm going to talk to my partner because I'm jealous. It doesn't work. And you know it doesn't work. And then you get irritated when it doesn't work. And then your irritation, you don't know where your irritation comes from. Okay. And then it spirals. The once happy relationship is now over because you didn't understand where your jealousy came from. If you understand where your jealousy came from, then your relationship may not have to end. Right? All of your relationships don't have to end. So there you go, Lena. That's the positive side. Cool. All right. So what's next? We have some time off. I don't know when my next class is. I think it's way after. I think it's, I don't know when it is. It's a while from now. We'll have to look. So next class is the 13th of July. Okay. So we're taking some time off, but it's not really time off because we're going into the power of a good heart. So if you want to get out of this depressing mode of ACI 8, maybe it was designed this way. We're now going to go into Lojong in Mexico. In 50 minutes, I'm getting in a car and I'm going to go to the airport and I'm flying to Mexico. All right. So we're going to be doing something really, really cool there. Some of you are already there or will be there shortly. This is a very, very deep program on how to develop a good heart. How do you live in a world with other people while doing your homework about looking for the 6 kinds of sufferings? Okay. Don't get depressed, please. Sydney, I'm already hot, so I'm not going to come back hot. I'm already hot. But tan, I don't do. I'm I don't get tan. I'm sorry. This is just an ongoing joke here. So the power of a good heart. The thing we're adding on is we have a symposium on going much deeper into achieving inner peace. Like, how do you live these practices? So, for example, we have a teaching on business. I'm giving a talk on impossible success. How did the hotel in Sedona that I manage become the #1 hotel in the United States for small hotels? Okay. How did that happen? It was impossible. Okay. I wasn't even trying. That's the best part. I wasn't even trying, right? But we're giving a class on that. We're giving a class on how do you work with your self-esteem? How do you work with your anger? How do you work with your patience? How do you work with all of those kinds of emotions, which also, fit very nicely into this class too. So that's an additional program on top of Geshe Michael's teachings from Pabonka Rinpoche's Lam Rim as well. So we'd love to see you there. Hurry up, get your visa and come. Starts on Wednesday night. And if you can't do that, then you can join us online. There should be a link appearing in the chat very soon. And these courses are what make these free courses free. Okay. These ACI courses are free, the ones you're attending right now. Why are they free? Because we spend money to make them free. Free doesn't mean free. You just have the karma to experience it as free. Congratulations. Yes, those additional programs will be recorded, Kathy. But we have these main programs throughout the year to fund our free programs as well. And yes, you can attend our Lam Rims by donation only as well. If you'd like to see this keep going, this is my news. I've had some business coaching. I've been told I need to ask for money all the time. I hate asking for money. If you'd like to see this going, because money is the cause to keep the Dharma going, right? Unrelated. That's a weird karma. But in order to keep, the organization running in the world that we have right now, please do consider supporting. And if you are a fundraiser and would like to help us raise money, we also could do that as well. So thank you all for joining. We're going to take a 10-day break from this class, and we're going to go to Mexico. Barbara, I'm looking forward to seeing you in about 11 hours. Someone's going to be picking me up from the airport. So thank you all very much for everything. I'm happy that you're here. Yeah, look how proud she is. She's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick him up. Please take what we've done today and see how you see it in your life. And then what can we do about it? And there's a lot we can do about it. Have a nice afternoon and say goodbye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Tim. See you
Bye
in
bye.
Guadalajara.
大家拜拜，拜拜，
谢谢老师，
慢慢see you
哎，
again.
谢谢老师。
谢谢老师，
拜拜。
谢谢老
拜
师，拜拜，拜拜。
谢谢老师。
好
老师，到时自己线上课见。
我不要弄那么多，拜拜。今天来看吗 ？Thank you，
谢谢 Tim。
Thank you， 老板姐，拜拜。我们来关掉了，不好意思，关掉。
Aw,
Sorry，
why are you sorry? It's so good to see you. right, guys, have a wonderful day. Ciao.
见。